Shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bashim Shah Bahashem Harakakwadash Mamath. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS, and honors to the elder and the Lions New Capital Har 1. Shalom to you, brothers and sisters, especially with sincerity. This is the book of 1 Corinthians 14 and 32. It says, and the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. All right, so I brought this out because the same way that the Lord have put his spirit unto his prophet that he's chosen is the same way that the Lord has chosen each spirit. And because I've been reading, I just been reading about this abolitionist called John Brown. And it's I got some more lessons coming along the way on John Brown, the history of John Brown, and also what happened around the 1800s and why, and kind of history that wasn't talked about, at least talked about when I was in school, that I feel like is very, very important on things that we could use even in the truth today. The same way he set up these people like John Brown and how he used different different historical figures to bring about his will and to do it at the right time too. Verse 33, for Yahweh is not the author of confusion, but of peace in all in the churches of the saints. So the Lord is not the author of confusion. Everything that the Lord does is calculated. Everything is done on time and in season. Actually, let me bring that out as well. Let me see. Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So the Lord has everything written out in a plan. It's the same way with this dude John Brown that I'm reading about. The Lord exactly put him in, because in this book it was saying that he was born at the perfect time. He was born at the perfect time because around that time it was he was during the time of Nat Turner's revolt, and it was another figure that wasn't all too talked about. I don't know if I'm butchering the name, but the name is Clinque, or Clinque. Around that time, and the Lord used those two Jakes to inspire John Brown to essentially to encourage the Emancipation Proclamation, which happened a couple years after John Brown died. And with the Emancipation Proclamation coming towards the end of the 1800s, coming into the 1900s, well, I think, yeah, the 1900s, that's where you had shit like the Great Depression, and then you had that shit bleeding on, and sharecropping and stuff like that, and it kept bleeding on, and it coming towards the 60s. But all of it happened at the perfect time because it was wars going on. It was wars going on, the Gullah Wars, and then you had the Spanish, the Spanish War. That the war that lasted from 1815 to 1855. All of that, it was a big pivotal moment as well in history for that at that time. Then you had different different slave revolts all around, like in the north, and like in the south. And these devils was getting scared of various revolts, and then you had wars, and then you had the Native Americans, the Gadites. They were scared of the Gadites. So all of that, man, all of that played a big role in the Lord pulling the chess pieces together to use these things to not only emancipate, but to kind of build a case as well. Just to build a case on this, though, because all of this is written within this book. It says a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. So the Lord was doing all of this, man. He's moving furniture. He's moving furniture all around this time to set up for the 1900s. And if you see, oh man, whenever you see how the Lord did it, he did it all on perfect timing. Because not only in like the 1700s, like towards the end of it, or like towards like mid, leading to like the 1750 to 1850, was like the Gullah Wars that lasted a very, very long time. And then after that, you had another war, like the Spanish Wars. Let me see if I can find that. Spanish American War. Let me veer off a little bit. Not 1955. Oops. What was it? Nah, that's not it. 1815. Well, let's say 1820. Oh, I think it's the Seminole. Yeah, the Seminole Wars. Okay. First Seminole War, Second Seminole War, Third Seminole War. Okay. So you had these right here, the Seminole Wars. Right. I'm glad I looked this up. So the Lord had the Gullah Wars, and just so I can see, Gullah Wars as well lasted when and started when 1739 to about 1858. How long is that in total? Man, that thing lasted 119 years, man. So you had all of that happening around the same time too. All of that happening around the same time. And the Lord used all of that, and he said, okay, around this time, this is going to happen. And around this time, this is going to happen. They're going to push these groups of people out further west, and then they're going to grab this land. And then what is going to be, I'm going to raise up this individual who could possibly be a Jake to raid this exact place, to influence this exact person to do this, because all this happened, and this, like, all of that is calculated. Like, all of that did not happen by chance. And it was the Lord that was doing this. It was the Lord. And imagine from their point of view. Imagine from their point of view how they looked at it. They saw it from the start to the end, right? Of them hearing stories of what happened before and how everything like went from this, and this, and how it got to this point. It's the same way that happened in the book, how it happened in the scriptures as well. How it was prophesied that we were going to go into Babylon and things like that, and how Yahweh Shah prophesied about 70 AD. And how Daniel, and even in the book of Daniel, even then. So all of this, but everything had to happen in the way that it was supposed to happen, and it's even the same way now. The Lord said, "Hey, this stuff has to happen before this happens." And in this case, it happened in the span of 119 years to get to the point of John Brown and things like that. I just found it interesting. And it says a time to get and a time to lose, a time to Ecclesiastes 3:6, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away. I'm gonna just skip down to verse 11. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he hath set the world in their hearts so that no man can find out the work that Yahweh maketh from the beginning to the end, man. So, the Lord had made the process of time beautiful. He made it beautiful because even though they try to hide history by giving you BS history where they think should be included, and then you have the simpletons in the world who expect to just learn whatever they give you and not question everything else is BS. They want you to be a modern day slave. And one thing that I found interesting as well, the ones that were abolitionists back then, of course, it was, Edomites who were seeking to please the poor. Whether they were Jake or not, I'm not sure. I can't really tell, but they did have Jake journalists, they had Jake newspapers, and they also had Edomite ones that were against and ones that were, for abolishing slavery. It's been accounts of pro-slavery mobs unaliving their own people, and that shows you that the spirit of Esau is still within. They are descendants. It shows one of two things. It shows that anybody that is opposed to their view, they're willing to unalive, and the descendants of these people who claim to follow the Christian faith and belief, those descendants of those people are still here today, still following the same thing, and not even knowing that their religion is based off of pro-slavery beliefs. Even though it's excluded now because we're no longer in slavery, that history is still within that. It was still within that belief system. So I wanted to go ahead and bring that out. I got some more coming once I continue to keep reading this book. This book is real interesting. But I hope this was edifying and shalom.